All right, so now let's go ahead and change this dark mode because I don't like it. Let's go and do it from, we're gonna go here to the left to this paintbrush over here, and we're gonna go to colors, and then we're gonna just toggle off the dark mode theme. All right, so that should be it. Now let's go here and instant reload. So as long as we have the session going on, we can instant reload, okay? So we're gonna just instant reload and see if the changes have been applied. And perfect, so the changes have been applied. And this is what we want. Okay, so now let's go back to our project. And now what we want to do is we want to create, we want to give the user the ability to create an event, right? So let's go ahead and create a new page. This page is gonna be called create event. So create event, and let's select blank and create page. All right, so now we have the page here, create event page. Let's change the text of the app bar to create event. All right, and now let's think about what we want to have here. Maybe you want to have a text field for the name, right? Another text field for the address. So we need to think about what we want an event to have, okay? So we want an event to have maybe a name, an address, a day, a time, right? And maybe also the user who created the event should be there. So let's go ahead and do these things. So let's look for a text field. I'm just gonna add in a text field here. I'm gonna add in another text field, and then I'm gonna add in a new widget here that we haven't worked with so far. It's called the calendar. This calendar is gonna allow us to select the day, and then we're gonna add in a button to select the time. Okay, so a button, and then let's add in another button to create the event. Okay, so you can see that all of these widgets are very close to each other. So let's select the calendar, and again, let's click on this calendar label here, and we're gonna select the column. And now let's go here down in the columns, and let's choose the main axis alignment. Let's add space evenly between the children. And now you can see that we have space between the children. We can also, but I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna just set them to the start like they were before. I'm gonna add maybe 8 pixels of spacing between them. And then I'm gonna select the, let me see if I can select the last button. This button over here, I'm gonna give it a padding of 32 because I want this button a little bit more separate from the other widgets. So I'm gonna set the padding of this button to 32, like this. And now let's select the column again. So we can do it from here, select the column, and let's add in a little bit of padding on all sides. So 16 pixels of padding on all sides, like this. And now let's do a little bit of styling to this element. So for this label, we want to say maybe event name instead of label here. We want to say event name. Then for this text field over here, we want to say something like event address, right? Address. Then for this okay. Then for this button over here, we want to, let me zoom in a little bit. So if you see that you cannot select the button, because sometimes I hover over the mouse over here, I cannot select it. See, it's difficult for me to select it. I cannot. So I just zoom in a little bit, and then you can select it better. Okay. So for the button, for this button, we're gonna change the text to select a time, like this. Let's add in an icon to this button. So the icon is going to be a time icon, like this one. And here we have it. And now we need to set the action for this button. So when the user clicks this button, the user should be able to select a time. So there's an action for this called daytime picker. So let's go to the actions tab and add an action. It's going to be called date time picker. So let's go down, and I don't see it anywhere. Now I see it, daytime picker on the widget UI interactions. And for the daytime picker type, we're gonna choose time, and that should work. Okay. Now for the last button, we're gonna change the text to create event. Okay. And when the user clicks this button, we should define an action so that the user creates a new document of the events collection. But right now we don't have an events collection, and we have no fields for that event. So let's go ahead and create that events collection. So to create the events collection, go here on the left to the to the icon that looks like a database. And inside here, we're gonna add a new collection. We have the users collection. Let's add in the events collection, create. And we're gonna start from scratch. And let's add in the fields of this events collection. So the fields are gonna be the name, which is going to be a string because it's gonna be a text. Let's also add in the address. It's going to be a string. It's going to be, okay. So the event is also gonna have a day. So the day is not gonna be of type string. It's gonna be of time, date, time, okay? And click this check mark. And for the time, we're gonna choose datetime again and click this check mark. And also, let's add in a field that's gonna reference the user that created the event. So for that, we're gonna we're gonna say created by. So we're gonna have a field called created by, and it's gonna be of type document reference, and the reference type is gonna be users. So this field is gonna point to the user that created this event, okay? And last, we're gonna have a field called attendees, and this is gonna be the list of users that are gonna attend our event. So this is gonna be of type document reference. The type is gonna be users. So this is gonna be a list. Okay, so let's make it a list. It's gonna be a list of reference to users that are gonna attend the event. Okay, so this is just a reference to the user that created the event, they created by, and the attendees is a list of references to users that are gonna attend the event. All right, so we have that done. Now we can go ahead and define the action for the create event. So make sure you select it. I'm just moving around this floating tab so it's not in my way, okay? And so select the create event, go to the actions and add an action to this event. And for the action, we're gonna set create document. So it's gonna be a create document action under Firestore. We can see this action, create document. For the collection, it's gonna be of type events, and we're gonna add the fields. So we're gonna add all of the fields because we wanna define the name, address, date, time, created by. It's not create by, it's created by. So let's go ahead and change that really quickly. It's for the event. I said it was created by, but it's not created by. It's created by. So created by. It's gonna be it's just a minor detail, but document reference of type users. Okay, all right. So let's go back and make sure we have the create event. And let's remove this and let's add the other field created by. Okay. So for the name, what do we want? We want to get this value over here, okay? The value here for the event name. So for the name, we're gonna get it from a variable, and it's gonna be from the widget state text field event name. For the address, it's gonna be from a variable. It's gonna be from the widget state and event address. For the day, it's gonna be from a variable. It's going to be the widget state, a calendar day selected. And the available options, we will choose start, okay? Confirm. And for the time, it's going to be from a variable, and it's going to be from the widget state and date time picked, okay? This date picked is actually gonna be the time that the user picks when the user clicks this button. And for the attendees, this is gonna be a list of users, so we're gonna add to this list the reference of the authenticated user. So add first item, and we're gonna choose the authenticated user, user reference, confirm. So we're gonna add our user reference to the attendees list. That means that if we create an event, we are gonna attend the event by default. And for the created by, we're just gonna set it to our authenticated user reference. Okay, perfect. So now this should work. Okay, now this over here should work. But the only thing that we need to do, we need to create an action to go back. So if the user creates, so the user has to have an option to go to this page and to go back. So let's add it from here and select this option for the app bar. So this will give us an action to go back. And then let's go ahead to the events page again. And in here, we need a way for the user to go to the create event. So I'm gonna just add a floating action button here. So let's look for FAB and just drag it here. And I'm gonna look now for an icon. So let's look for icon. I'm gonna drag the icon inside the button. I'm gonna make the icon size 30. The color of the icon, I want it to be white. And now the icon, I want it to be an add icon. I'm gonna choose this add. And okay, and now let's define the action for this icon. So I'm gonna choose the the floating action button, define an action, is going to be a navigate to action, navigate to create event. Okay, that's fine. Now let's go ahead and test this up and see if it works. So it says that we already have a session going on. So let's just instant reload this session. I thought it had expired, but we still have it open. So let's instant reload and see what we get. All right, so now let's go ahead and log in. j@gmail.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Log in. Okay, now we have the button to create an event. So if we click this button, now we can set the name of the event here. For example, soccer game. It's going to be in the city of sports. I'm just making things up, okay? In the 26th maybe, and the time is going to be the 10 at 10:30, for example. Okay, so now you can see that I selected the time, but it would be nice that when we select the time, this button shows us the time that the user has selected. So how do we do this? Let's go back to Flutter Flow. Let's go to the create event page and let's select this button over here. And this button has a property called text. So we're gonna set this text to whatever the user has picked here, okay, in the time picker. So let's select the orange icon next to text, and let's go to widget state and date picked, and we're gonna format this time. Okay, it's important to always format the time because if we don't format it, it's gonna appear in a weird way. So daytime format options, and this is how we want the time to be formatted. So I want the time to be like this, PM. So the time and then AM or PM, and the default value is going to be select time. So if the user hasn't selected anything, this is what the user will see as the text. But if the user has selected a time, then the user will see the time in this format. Confirm, okay, click confirm. And now we can go back here and instant reload this application. And let's see if the application has gotten the changes that we have made. And let's try to add a new, and now let's try just to select the time and see if it works. So 10:30, okay. And it doesn't work, but I think it's because the application didn't get the changes that we made. So let's just instant reload the application again. Sometimes you need to instant reload 2 times so that the application gets all the changes, because it takes a little bit of time to the application to realize what changes we made. Okay, so add, and let's play with the time again. Let's set it to 11. And now we see that we have 11 p.m. Perfect. So everything's working fine. Let's go ahead and then create our event. So soccer game, and the event title is going to be City of Sports. And then the day is going to be the 26th. Let's do it at 10:30 a.m. and create the event. So now the event has been created. And if you don't believe me, you just have to go here to the Firebase and refresh. Let's refresh, and now we see that under the events collection, we have a new document with all of the information. It would be nice if after creating the event, we go back to this page, to the events page, so that we can see the events. So to do this is very simple. Let's go to the create event action, and let's gonna open the action flow editor for this for the action of this button. So open here, and we're just gonna add a new action, and this new action is gonna be navigate back. Okay, so we create the document, and after we create the document, we navigate back. Okay, so if we apply these changes, we will see that it works. So this is gonna be it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.